Okay, I just wanted to walk through my garden this morning and show you guys what's been growing here. Real quick, I wanted to try to cover 3 different things that I've noticed that are growing in my garden, and I thought it might be a good time to do a short video on it. I want to just look at some annuals, biennials, and perennials. And I think most of us know what they all are, but I thought it'd be fun to show a few examples. The annuals that I have growing in my garden that I've noticed have reseeded themselves this year are some borage. Okay, over here is right in the middle of where I planted my onions is borage or borage. I've heard it pronounced a couple different ways, and that's a medicinal herb that I grew last year. It's absolutely beautiful, and I've really enjoyed growing that, though I have read that it will definitely reseed itself. So you have to kind of keep it under control. It'll go everywhere, and I've noticed there's a lot of it in my garden. It reseeded itself everywhere, which is fine. I'm just going to pull them out and put them in pots, or I'll also put them somewhere else in the garden where I want them to grow, like along my pathways. So there's another one there. So our annuals are plants that flower and bloom in the same year. They bloom and flower in the same year, and then they go to seed. They produce the seed, and it usually will grow back the next year, but it's a new plant. It's not the same plant. See if I have any other examples of things that have reseeded themselves this year. I think perhaps there might be dill down in here. If I can show that too. Right here is I think that is dill. And I noticed sometimes sunflowers are in here. Last year I had a lot of sunflowers reseed themselves. Cilantro, this is produced blooms and seed last year, and this is what I is growing this year. And that would be my cilantro plant. It's ready for me to go ahead and pull it out, really. Look at all this water over here. We had a hard rain last night. And let's see, so a good example of a biennial, which is something I've always found kind of confusing, is parsley. And last year was the first time I ever saw parsley go to seed. And I'd always wondered why it did not ever go to seed on me in Florida. And I pretty much grew it as an annual there. And I think it does kind of depend on the climate where you're living. If something will just grow and not go to seed. This parsley, in my climate, it produced wonderfully last year. I dried a lot of parsley, and now this year you see it's still doing very well, but I expect it this year to go to seed. And I can collect those seeds, or it can reseed itself, and I can have some more next year. I can harvest a little bit of it at the beginning of the year, but I do expect that will go to seed. It's a biennial. And the same thing with carrots. When your carrots grow, you can harvest them the first year and enjoy them, and leave a few in the ground, and it'll go to seed the next year, the second year, and you can harvest those seeds and replant them the next year, or it can reseed itself. So 2 years for biennials. And then we have the perennials. And I have a pretty good example of a perennial over here, which is my Greek oregano. And it has, it was getting so big over here. I finally divided it last week. And I put the other half in a container here, and then I have some more in another area. So it was huge. And I basically just broke it down. It looks like it has rooted down, because it's not showing any signs of stress whatsoever. And that's something that I needed to do, in the spring before it started a lot of new growth. You don't want to do it when it's really growing. So it had just started growing, and I divided it. I really probably should have done that before it showed any growth at all, but I didn't. So anyway, that's a perennial for you. It comes back every year until it just is tired of coming back. For instance, I had a lavender over here that I actually moved with me from Florida, and it didn't do it too well here, but it was wonderful year after year in Florida. So it was probably about 4 years old, so I had to pull that out. I think I just did that this year. I pulled it out because it wasn't really growing much anymore. So let's see if I can find another. Oh yeah, thyme is a wonderful perennial herb. And mine in my container garden is doing wonderfully. And I have read those do great in containers. And it looks like this is coming back down here. So I expect to see this nice and full probably within a month. Hopefully it'll all be filled out. This is silver thyme. And I think we've got some over here on the ends that are starting to green up. So this will be fun. And now I am still testing to see if the grass over here, this lemongrass, is going to come back on me. I know it stays around in the hotter areas, tropical areas. It has a very extensive root system. So if the roots are deep enough, I may just see some blades popping up out of there in the next couple months. If not, I'll be digging those out. But this is my true test for this. I've been trying to find out for a couple of years if that's going to come back here. And I know it does in a zone that's about an hour away. It comes back, but I'm at a higher elevation. So we'll see. I'll show one more too. Over here, this is Feverfew. And I have grown that since I've been here. And I pulled it out last year. I got tired of it. I tend to do that, but it wanted to stick around apparently because it's popped its little head up over here. So apparently there were some roots down in there and it's staying. And of course this is zone 6B, so it's pretty happy where it is, and it's going to continue to grow here. Okay, well I hope everyone is enjoying their gardens. Thanks for watching.